and welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and the goal of our show is to explore a wide range of topics that challenge us to see ourselves, our community, and the world around us in ways that get us thinking, get us talking, get us imagining, and perhaps inspired or challenged to do just a bit more because we've made that connection. Our topic today is the exploration and celebration of collaborative creativity. And hosting with me is Rick Bernardo, and he has invited Brenda Varda to join us to talk about her work.
I did, and thank you for coming, Brenda Varda. We know Brenda from back in February when we hosted her and other people from the production at the Phoenix Theater called Stolen Focus. And you, who wrote the book that you based that on?
Johan Hari.
Johan Hari. That was Brenda talking, by the way. And then,
Hi.
and just to distinguish the voices. And you wrote the script for the production back
Yes,
in
I did.
February,
Yeah.
and we had Brenda and her crew with us. But I've kept in touch with Brenda ever since. She's a writer, composer, musician, actor, producer, and educator. I have to take such a breath with all of this because she wears all these hats and other types of clothing. And she's an educator in composition, critical thinking, and arts development.
Welcome, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. We're glad you're here. I so enjoyed taking a look at your website and all the wonderful work. And then you mentioned that this is a new website. You've new and improved. But to give our audience a chance just to have a sneak peek at it, it's Brenda, Varda, so that's BrendaVarda.com. And you have quite the background of both, as Rick said, in working in improv, with bands, with musical theater, orchestra, film, television. And what I loved is how you talk about risk, truth, and humor.
I guess those would be the guiding principles. Is that there's ways to do things that are very in line in our creative worlds in good ways.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's things to go to the actually opposite end of that are about risk and about challenging your own work and also challenging audiences or challenging performers. And so it's always interesting to see where you are. Everything to me in life is a bell curve.
Yes, it is. And every move forward sometimes has a backlash that then we have to come back with that bell curve and move forward with.
Yeah, so it's just an interesting way to think about how you do your creative work or how you respond to culture and society and what's going on.
And with that, you were in Los Angeles for many years.
Yes.
And then you transplanted here in the Twin Cities.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That is, it was a common route. It was a end of COVID return to this area because I grew up in northern Minnesota, as I always say, a redundant phrase.
And we're in northern Minnesota. I just have to find out.
Okay. I was born on the range.
Oh, I love that.
In Virginia. And then I moved to Chisholm. Hey,
it was a big time.
Big time move. And
Moving
then,
on up.
And then to Duluth.
I have dear friends in Eveleth. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay, so you know the area.
Oh,
so,
yes, yeah.
So then I was in Duluth, and then I went to the University of Minnesota, and then I went around the planet. So
wonderful. And you landed here, and you have memories of course, growing up in northern Minnesota. Mm-hmm. But there was probably my grandfather always told me that you could go away from Minnesota. It was like a huge rubber band that you would be pulled back at some point, and that you never get too far away from the Minnesota world.
Well, I came back mostly because I am the only relative of my mother, and she's not doing as well as you would like to do. Sure. And so somebody has to be around to be present for her. And being pulled back to Minnesota, at least in the Twin Cities, there is a way of thinking about working in the arts that is productive. It's very different than working in the LA environment or the Chicago or the St. Louis or the New York markets. It's very different. So it's always like an adjustment to thinking about how do you exist within a certain realm.
And here in the Twin Cities, you find it more community-oriented, more collaborative? Is there a leaning towards collaborative that helps your work as well? Is that there's a – I have one friend that said there's many different climates. And, yes, we have – our climate is cold, but we also have an artistic climate that's very receptive.
There's an artistic climate here, and it's bell curve. Mm-hmm. So the center of it's probably different than what I was experiencing in LA, because LA, it's not as group defined as here in essence. And I could go from one company to another company to doing something and everybody's expected to do that. It's a lot of flow back and forth, but here it's a little bit more centralized to who you're working with.
Interesting.
And so
So
that's
more as an individual in California.
Yes.
And you're individual artists, and then you show up in lots of different.
Right.
And here, more associated with
a particular community or company, or making and so it's a very different type of thing. So that's but I've gotten used to it, and there's lots of groups that I really enjoy working with.
Well, we certainly enjoyed having you talk about Stolen Focus, and we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, you're working on something right now. It's Lusty Busty Yar,
Yes.
a pirate show. Tell me about
Okay. Oh, wait, no. I did not create this. I do love it. Daniel Pinkerton is the writer, and Chris Genula is the composer, and it's actually two pieces. It's Yar the Lusty Busty musical, and also Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Christmas. I'm sorry.
going to see that one.
Oh, that's another one.
I'm going to put that on the calendar because I need to see Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Christmas.
I'm
Yeah,
going to be
course.
singing that on the way home.
So, but just so you know, is that they're both. The original, I think, was developed for a Fringe show, so it wasn't the hour-length Fringe show. So they both are short. So there's some evenings you can go and see one, or you can see the other. But there's also evenings where you can come and see both.
So it's a double feature, Yar.
A double feature Yarness,
And if you're feeling like a pirate.
and just a couple of things. I guess I'm kind of promoting this. This is not my piece, but I'm really enjoying working because I'm teaching them all the music. That's my job on this
lovely.
one.
That's a vital function.
It is. Now we all have to talk like pirates for the rest of this. But what's fun about it is the cast. The number of characters in each show, I think, is about 12 or more, right? In each show, but the cast is 3.
3 women.
Oh,
Three women.
that.
I love 3 women.
Yes, and so there is it's the lovely and I'm a fan of chaos. So whether it's chaos theory or just chaos, so they're going back and forth between creating all of these characters through each of the pieces, and it's so much
awesome.
fun.
Well,
That's awesome.
I wasn't going to mention this, but now I feel like I should. I'm actually related to Mary Fitz, who was the pirate Mary, who disguised herself as a man until she had to reveal that she was a woman.
That.
Yes,
For real?
for real. She was.
Oh my God!
Yeah, she first disguised herself and went into the army, and back then German army, and then decided that she needed to run away, and she joined. Well, she was in love with this guy who was a pirate. She came on as a guy, and then eventually, when they were being raided, she had to fight back, and she had to reveal, wait, I am a woman.
Excuse me, I forgot this detail.
Exactly. And then she ran the pirate ship. She took over.
I think I remember
Yeah.
reading about this somewhere in the past because it was so crazy.
She got hung by the neck in South Carolina, but she did have a baby first.
Not in prison?
Probably in prison. I just know that. And went back to. There was a Fitzford in England that she went back. That the baby went back to and was raised in England.
And if they're going to hang you, by the neck is the worst.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're off topic. But we're doing
Coming back.
But I do want to promote Fortune's Fool Theater. That's with an R-E. FortuneFoolTheater.org. And then / what we're doing.
Yep.
And you'll see the Lusty Busty Yar. I also want to come back to
it's at the Hive Theater.
At the Hive Theater.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just
You wanted to share a little bit about the Stolen Focus.
Well, it just as we go to the second segment, because we first met you during Stolen Focus, I had left over a promotion from that. It's just about a minute long. And I only realized last month that, that's Brenda on this doing the voices, and I don't know if it's just a touch of her creativity,
So
just
we'll
as an introduction.
get a touch of Brenda.
Yeah.
Brenda, a touch of Brenda, and some production. If you want to say anything about how you made that, did you make it at home, or what did you do?
Home.
Oh, all right, at home. All right. I wasn't gonna say I thought so, but because I had no idea. It's very professional. So it's just a minute long of the promotion for Stolen Focus from last that you wrote.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead. Thanks.
Stolen focus. Stolen focus. Stolen. A new theater piece at the Phoenix Theater. Find out why your focus has been stolen, why it's disintegrated, why you can't remember what you want to remember, and why your sleep is going away. Stolen Focus, an immersive piece in the Phoenix Theater, produced by Arts Nest, and giving you the characters and the disruptors and the experience. So maybe you can get your focus back. Stolen Focus, running February 15th through March 2nd at the Phoenix Theater. Come join us, because you need to pay attention. We all have to pay attention.
I only drink champagne. I never deign to wallow in a swallow of a brew. Martinis never tingle, with Jack I never mingle, and Scotch is lost on me. Oh.
Welcome back to Connections Radio Show, where we have just enjoyed a beautiful song, Champagne by Brenda Varda, who is our guest today. Rick Bernardo has invited Brenda to be with us today, and that was an amazing song.
That was just the beginning part of it. We'll hear a little more later.
Yeah, okay.
Brenda Varda.
So tell me about that song.
Oh, well, it's a great, it's probably one of the ones that people request most when I'm doing stuff. But it's interesting from a creativity standpoint is that how that piece came to be. There was a bar in Los Angeles where you would go and do kind of open mic, but it was a little bit more upscale, and, it was a great grand piano, and it's what is it? Who used to always go there? Oh, God, I'm trying to think.
Probably a lot of actors.
Well, and it was kind of a little bit of a celebrity hang in Los Feliz. Anyway, but so I went there, and I was just at the bar, and there was this woman that I had always seen there, and she seemed a little bit down, and and I was like, well, can I get you a drink or something like that? And she goes, maybe, and then she goes, and I said, well, what do you want? And she said, well, champagne.
Of course.
And then I only drink champagne.
And there it was. That's the moment.
Right.
The
Right, because the truth is, I don't drink champagne.
But you captured her essence.
I captured her essence, and so then I think I wrote most of it at the bar at that moment, at least the lyrics, and so.
Oh, I just love it.
But just so that's one of the ways that I think when I'm doing song stuff is that I'm capturing phrases and then just taking them with me.
Well, I love in your website you talk about building new works through dedication, collaboration, and creative perception. I think that was a moment of perception.
Yeah.
And you do innovative things. You like doing something that's maybe outside of the norm and developing the possibilities. Tell me about that.
There's a couple of places where it comes from. I think when I was 5, I started reading science fiction.
I love that.
And and I can remember the row of books in the Chisholm Public Library.
Yes,
There we go.
Yes, there we have it. Paying homage to the Iron Range.
I will. So I started reading science fiction, and so that's always been in my head, science and science fiction. And so when I'm thinking about things and being outside of what the norm is, I've always had to work to incorporate the realities of our normal existence, because my brain wants to go and do things that are outside of our normal existence. But that's just what I was exposed to.
Well, that's what artists and scientists, I think, do best, is asking the questions and the what if.
Yeah.
My dad was a physicist, and we lived in Pasadena
Oh.
when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8. And he was working with folks at Caltech because we lived kitty corner from Caltech.
Yes.
And this is the time when Star Trek came out.
Oh, wow.
Every physicist adored that show.
All
My
right.
dad adored that show.
All right.
And so it was the what if. It captured their imagination. It captured what are the possibilities. So I have a deep heart for science fiction because I think it can open up new ways of thinking.
It is true. And I did write a musical for Caltech.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
We have to talk about that.
So you know who they are.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I worked. Brian Brophy runs our theater department. I've known Brian for years in Los Angeles, and so I got incorporated into helping with doing music. And then I made a proposal for doing a musical.
I love it.
And I worked with the scientists and the students and staff, and wrote a piece called Alice Through the Wormhole.
Oh, I love it. I just love it.
And that was, of course, a takeoff on Alice in Wonderland. But this was about a young woman scientist not knowing how she fit in, and then she goes down the wormhole and to understand the full spectrum of what the science world is about. And so goofy and fun. And then everybody in the cast was scientists, students,
Yeah.
and staff.
What a creative collaborative.
Awesome.
And what an amazing idea.
Yeah, so
I
was
love
very
it.
fun.
I love it. You should think about bringing it here.
You know, I've thought about reviving it because it's just, I think I'd have to, again, like things move so fast now that if you write something, you know, in about 2 years sometimes, especially if it's technology or science related, you have to totally change the elements that are within the script or within the story, the characters.
Tech or politics are both that way. You just never know what's going to resonate anymore within a month or two.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I've got to say, my background in academia was in religion and science, and to do that, I had to dig deeply into my science courses and the philosophy of how that happens. And imagination is so key, unlike what most people know. Imagination is such a foundation for both the arts and science.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
And a lot of times people don't think of science being creative. That's a common thing, is to not think of that as being in that. And the thing is that it is entirely, and a lot of it is when you're coming up with new ideas, whether it's science or whether it's creative stuff. There is a chaos element.
Absolutely.
All the breakthroughs, I'm reminded of a saying in music and acting, like, know your lines, know the rules, and then you know when to break them.
Yep.
And that's how science often works.
I love that a lot of what you do is asking the questions and being curious, because I think that's the root for both art and science, is having the heart of curiosity.
And true, because that's the only way that you can get through to the other side. I've been reading again Gettel Escher Bach.
Oh,
I know. Just so I can break my brain. It's definitely a break your brain 900-page book. It's really great, but it talks about how Bach came up with his ideas, how Escher came up with his ideas, and how Gettel came up. So you're looking at music and art and mathematics.
awesome.
And what strikes you the most from that? What's your takeaway lately from rereading that and looking at it?
My brain is breaking. I think is probably what I'm just to think about. One of the concepts that I'm looking at using more in my work and in relationship with other collaborations is this idea of, and I don't know how many people use it, is what is the baseline? Because even in our current culture and environment and politics and stuff like that, we're probably on the level 10, but we're not really thinking about the crucial issues that are everybody's
undergird it all.
Yep. And so I think Gettel Escher Bach does go baseline in a really interesting and sort of mind-blowing way.
How exciting. Well, I know that we're coming up at the end of this segment, and we have more champagne.
Yeah, and no, one term for who you are is a boundary leader. That's a term I got from public health and religion leaders. They're all working against the seams of whatever the discipline is. A boundary leader. This song is another ending section for Champagne, which is a song, and she's singing here, and she wrote the whole thing.
You have a beautiful voice, and I love champagne, so I love this song.
We're going to be drinking. Yeah,
I do drink other things, though.
We'll listen to that.
I only drink champagne. I should abstain, but I can't help but conjure up your name. I'll never toast with cordials. I won't toss back the schnapps. I won't down cocktails, 'cause I'll never have a shot at ever holding you close like I want to do. It's my only way of hanging on to you. I only drink champagne. I only drink champagne. I only drink champagne. Only When you start a war, no one will have time to dig into your dealings. When you drop a bomb, not a single soul will care what you are stealing. Just ratchet up the mongering, raise a mighty hatchet to the sky. With all those guns prepondering, it'll keep your minions feeling really high. Or is that the opiate addiction? Oh, never mind. When you tweet a threat, everyone goes mad, and there's more time for golfing. When you rip off cuff, scramble is a word, and there's terror in the air. Who needs rolfing? If you threaten all the bastards and cook up new disasters, there's no reason to look your way. Lock and load with fire and fury, and you'll never face a jury or the High Commodore when you start a war.
Welcome back to Connections Radio Show,
That was lovely.
where we had a great song about, oops, we've started a war.
Guess who wrote that?
Yeah, well, I'm Lori Fitz, your host. Let's get back to terra firma. Let's get the baseline. Back to the baseline. Where are we? Who are we? Okay, I'm Lori Fitz, your host. I've got Rick Bernardo as my co-host today.
That's me.
And we have Brenda Varda, and we are celebrating the exploration and celebration of collaborative creativity. And that was very creative.
And you're singing that, right?
Yes, that's me singing it, and I kind of intentionally made it sound like it was an old record from.
I love it.
That's just like what's sad
Victorola,
about that
yeah.
is that it sounds like I could have written that yesterday. We were talking about before is that sometimes things are written and you have to change them immediately. That one was from about 6 years ago, so that and
it sort of has history repeating itself.
oh yes, it does, baby.
It may not repeat, but it certainly rhymes, right?
Yes.
This one is a good rhyming representation.
Yeah, so it's just interesting that there's some things about our culture that are repetitive. I mean, in a weird way, that almost could have been written in probably in the 20s at some point, or probably at least maybe in the late in the 19 teens.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the turn of the century.
Yep.
When we had something close to an oligarchy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and
good point.
I do have a vaudeville love
Yeah.
in a weird way. So.
Yeah, I could see it sort of like with a little cane dancing across the stage, little tap, little cane, little show off with a chair.
Straw hat.
Yeah. Oh, when
It
you
works
start a war.
in a very scary way.
Yeah,
It works.
it is a little scary.
So, for audience members that are just joining us, Brenda is an amazing singer, as you noted. She's a musician. She is an actor. She is a writer. She's worked in film. She's worked in TV. She's done so much, and now she's here in the Twin Cities doing collaborations and encouraging individuals as well as working with theater groups. Tell me a little bit about how you're reaching out and working with individuals as well as, and then looking also at how you bring concepts to life with theaters.
There's several levels in here.
Yeah, yeah.
I have always worked off and on with vocalists about developing what they're doing, and probably again a little bit off the norm. I have never been an opera person. I admit that. I love it. I can hear it. I can be there, but it's not been part of it. So I look at working with singers about bringing their voice to where they need to have it, whether it's for musical theater or whether it's for their own work. So that's one side. The other side is that I end up being a pianist often for things. So I'm supporting productions and finding ways to make things go forward. I don't know if somebody said you can only be a musical director, I don't know if I would do that because that doesn't get my brain going as much, but I love doing it and working with different types of music and finding ways to bring it to life.
The innovation of something new.
I've done a lot of collaborations in some ways with the Phoenix and Arts Nest, and so I'm kind of helping them with a couple of projects right now, and finding different ways to reach out. One of the areas that I'm really interested in, I don't know if this is too geeky.
No,
you can
go
tell
for
me. And I've always been interested in this. In Los Angeles, I voted for the Los Angeles Theater Awards, so I used to see like tons of shows and see how they work with audiences. And there's a little bit more of I can see it happening here now, but it started happening in L.A. a little bit earlier, was about risk-taking with theater companies. And so taking a risk and not having it be, I'm going to go sit in a chair and watch something and then clap and leave. And so I'm always
Very
thinking
presentational.
Right. So I'm always thinking about the audience and in the psychological changes about with an audience about how they respond to creativity.
How are they connecting?
Right, because of stolen focus, because of social media, the way that people respond, especially younger generations, and that is not a label of younger generations. It's just what you've been exposed to. The idea of going in and sitting down does appeal to some people. I'm not saying that doesn't work, but there's having some interactive elements or challenging that idea of the proscenium. And I mean, people have been doing this for years, but it's become much more of something that gets done more often. And I always like finding ways to have shows and companies and people do things that go there. And there's some great examples here. I'd have to look them up online, but that's a good thing.
It kind of strikes me as I have big passion for creative drama with children. And that creative drama is all about the interaction and getting them engaged and loving that story. It's almost creating the next level for adults to have that opportunity.
Right. And there was, I suppose, there's an old idea that, when you go to the theater and just the images that pop up in your head, that you sit in the seat and you're dressed nicely and and so breaking right, exactly. But I think that breaking that is part of some of the things that we need to do in our culture, as far as breaking ideas about how we are not just in creative situations or art situations, but just in life situations. And that's another. I've been just starting to participate in the Uptown organization, and just finding different ways that we react and be. And using the stage to do that, or using music to do that, using art to do that.
Using radio to do that.
Right. Is this
Radio.
Radio?
Yes.
Radio?
The radio radio show.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if that's
It's
an
an
answer or
old
not.
technology.
It is.
Yeah.
But it survives.
Yeah.
I remember when I was studying broadcasting, I was told when I wrote a big paper about how I wanted to do a show like this, actually, very community-oriented culture, ideas and whatnot. My professor took me and goes, "Oh, radio's not going to go anywhere. You know, what you need to do is think about cable. Cable's going to be the answer."
Oh, ouch.
Well,
I was like, no, I really think that radio is kind of cool. And look where it is today. It has survived. The podcast celebrates the word. We want spoken word. We love spoken word.
I'm playing piano for a gig at the Phipps
Wow.
on November 2nd. It was with me playing piano with spoken word.
I love that.
All
I
right.
love that. I love that. And I know, Rick, you had some things that you wanted to share about the ideas of humor and
Well,
art.
we've had so many guests talking about humor and satire, and you're kind of big on that because I just heard this song called "When You Start a War." But I'm fond of Quincy Jones saying, you know, I always thought a big laugh is the soul's way of shouting, "Ain't that the truth?" and I love that. And you and I have talked about how satire and humor orbit around truth, and you can do things with art, including humor. You and I have talked about this, that you can't do just in a normal conversation. There's Edward Hopper used to say, "Damn it, if I could say it, I wouldn't paint it." Okay,
Right.
and so you work those other languages.
Yeah, well, it's with using satire, and which is I have always found I was doing satire when I think the first song I did was maybe when I was 11.
Oh, my.
So I've been thinking about this for a while, and there's satire, there's parody, and then there's original. I do mostly original. I don't do as much parody. I mean, parody is very useful. We can talk to Al Franken.
I think this is a little bit of a parody with the war song.
Yeah,
well,
it's a parody style, but
Style,
not
okay,
a lot of times people will take an actual song
Right.
and the actual
Oh, yeah, yeah.
melody
Yeah,
and
and
the
then
arrangement
make-
and change it. So that's anyway. So but I'm sorry, I'm not addressing your question. What was the question exactly? Just about how I use satire.
It wasn't really a question. It was just me saying something, and you responded just really
Good.
well.
We're good.
So me and Weird Al. And I think I said Al Franken. Weird Al. Okay. It's just useful to me because I have done a show here a few times, and actually we're talking about starting up called Danger Night.
Tell me about that.
And Danger Night, I did 4 versions of it, kind of when I first got here, but I'm thinking about making it regular, is about bringing in satire music. Not just written by me, but by other artists and other singers, and having it be a fun sort of push against the edge of what we're what's happening. The only thing right now I think is difficult. I'm trying to pull this up here now. Right, is that satire is hard to keep going.
And it's when satire has been used recently, people have gotten pretty uptight.
Yeah.
And it's created an unfortunate fear, I think, around it.
I'll share one thing on here. I just pulled it up. I wrote this a few years ago again, and the lyrics. This is just the first part. Satire is dead. Don't even try to make fun when the stupidest thing you can think of the next day is actually done.
Oh,
Why expose some ridiculous clod when all the minions think that they're a god? Yeah. You can't get in their heads. They believe what he said. So satire is dead.
and she wrote that.
And there's more truth to that hurts our heart.
Yeah.
But I do have a follow-up for you, and then I'll
Go
throw
ahead.
it over
I'm
to
sorry.
you, Rick. One thing that I also loved on your website was questions are the beginning. Creative flow is the genesis. Agreed upon systems build that process, and excellence shapes the final outcome. Would you say that's the trajectory of how you look at coming into a project?
Yes. And then sometimes I think I'm just trying to think of, where I find that to be the most difficult is I can write down 5,000 ideas a day. I mean, and most creative people I know can do that too. So then the genesis part of it, like figuring out how does this work, and whether it's in collaboration or by yourself, or whether it's research, which is a huge portion of 90% of what I do. I have to actually identify what's going on. That's a difficult process, and sometimes that can be 2 months, and sometimes that can be years.
But it's there.
It's there.
It's like a garden.
Yeah,
There's some things that take a little bit longer to grow, and others come up real quick.
and then I guess the difficult one too sometimes is the idea of excellence. Because some of the marker artists that we like, who do you think are the most creative artists, whether here or that you like to see work by, whether it's dance or music or whatever? Getting to the level of excellence and demanding that sometimes is difficult. That's probably sometimes the one I would say is the most difficult.
Before we go to the next segment, we're going to hear another segment of When You Start a War. And before that, BrendaVarda.com is a good website to go to because that's related to our guest today. Arthur Koestler talked about 3 responses to different kind of creativity. The aha response, which is discovery. The ha-ha response is when things clash and we laugh, but we have a new understanding at that point. And the ah experience when we are in union with our creativity. So,
I think the champagne song, I was in the place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's because, without even drinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
So here's another segment, a little longer, from When You Start a War by Brenda Varda.
Split the left and right, keep them yelling hate. They'll forget about your taxes. Play the racial card, get ethnic, dander up. No one sees you join the excess. Stir up mass confusion, add some spice to your cauldron full of stew. Deny your own collusion, so even if you're naked, no one wants to point at you. I don't think they want to look at you anyway. Keep the button near, say you'll press it soon. See them running to bomb shelters. Get rid of calls for peace, call out all the troops. Panic spreads across the land. It's helter-skelter. If stocks in your portfolio prove Soviet imbroglio, make sure chaos reigns supreme. Be smart and not a loser, and just lock up your accusers. Sig Heil, Herr Commodore, when you start a war. I really mean it. Gather all your family and military-industrial hordes, and pray that you are safe inside those White House doors. When you start a war, when you start a war, when you start a war, oh yeah. There's a bar at the edge of town where you go when all hope is gone, and all the people there just sit and stare at the edge of town. A gal drags in with her latest fail. Her job is gone and her lover just bailed. Her mouth got in the way. Now there's a barman to pay at the edge of town. Everyone there seems lost in bad dreams, near sleeping or death, so it seems. Does coming here prove that she's laughing too?
Welcome back to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. And sometimes we're blessed to hear music that matters. So thank you. This is a big thank you to Brenda Varda, who's been joining us today. And we have been exploring her collaborations and her individual work and the work that she does. And my co-host, Rick Bernardo, invited Brenda to come back. So thank you, Rick. Yes, he's pointing to himself, if you can see on the video. I want to just thank you for all the work that you do, and it's magical.
Oh, Thanks. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's an enjoyment.
And tell me about the work that folks can be part of coming up. At this part of the show, we love to be able to promote ways that our audience can continue to connect with you.
Well, first thing I'll say is that I am teaching a class about psychology and cinema at Film North, and that's on November 15th and 16th, and it's like a 12 to 3. It's just a weekend class. I've done it several times at Film North, and what's good about that is to think about what I'm engaging with people about is about how does your work stimulate an audience, and what is out there now, and how do we respond to it, and how do you keep up with it? So that's a fun thing to do if you're in the filmmaking world at all.
Where do people find out about that?
On the filmnorth.org website would be the
filmnorth.org.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, as I mentioned before, I'm doing the work. I'm helping out with the Yar musicals. It'll be done in December at the Hive.
Arg?
Yar.
The name of the two
right.
plays about Yar, and this is Busty Lusty Women that will be presenting this.
Yes, the
Busty Lusty or Lusty Busty?
Lusty Busty
There
Women,
we go.
the Lusty Busty musical, and then there's also Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Christmas.
And I've already made up my mind. I will be going.
Oh, good. We'll see you there. And then I'm actually not playing for that. I'm trying to think of Dee's last name. I love it. She's one of the best accordionists in town.
Oh,
so
fun.
it's just accordion and 3 actors.
Oh, cool.
So it's
Cool,
really
cool.
fun. So that'd be fun. And then the other thing I'm working on right now, and it's like, and again, this is one of those things we talked about, the 3 pieces, about how do you get through the process and getting there. I've done one presentation about it, is Metaland, a 21st century vaudeville that's set in 2054 when live performance is illegal. And it takes place in a bunker with a circus troupe.
Oh, how fun. And that's in process.
That's in process.
I love that. I love when that comes to life. I want to be able to promote it on this show, and I want to come.
Okay, thank you.
So let's say an individual's like, oh, this all sounds wonderful. Do you do individual coaching?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that.
I've done 2. Of course, I've done stuff with musicians, singers particularly, for years, about and helping them develop their solo projects, and from a writing standpoint, also helping them. I ran an organization in Los Angeles called WordSpace, which actually changed into WordSpace Music Space, and which I'm trying to revive here.
Okay.
And so that's another piece, and then I'm also trying to add the component of SciArts, SCI-arts.org, which I'm just starting to work with Springboard about getting it as another fiscal sponsorship, about working with scientists, and I have some people that are on board, and I have writers and musicians at this point about developing new science and arts works. So I'm looking for collaborators that would be interested in working that territory.
And that's very interesting to me.
Yeah. That's a lot of my life, actually.
Yeah,
so
really.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
I want to make sure that I promote a couple of different websites. First, to get connected with Brenda Varda, it's Brenda Varda, and that's VARDA.com.
Yep.
And on that, you'll learn a little bit more about Brenda, but also the works that you're working on are featured. Yes. That folks can take a look there. And the show that you are supporting, the Lusty Busty Yar, to go to see that show, it's Fortunes Fools Theater, no S, Fortunes with an S, Fool Theater, RE.org. I'm sure if you just put in Fortunes Fool, it'll come up, but put Fortunes Fools Theater, and go to the What We're Doing, and you'll be able to see Yar. And I want to go to that one, too.
Lovely. We'll all be there waiting for you.
And as coming from a theological background, Anne Lamott used to say that laughter is carbonated holiness. We've had a lot of that here today.
Well, we had the carbonation with the champagne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your background is the holiness.
That's a callback. Yeah.
I'm not sure I could qualify for that one. We're so glad that you're here. And we hope that you'll come back and share more about the shows that you're doing and the work that you're doing. It's all about making the connection, and you do that in such a beautiful way.
Brenda Varda.
Thank you both so much.
And thank you and being part of Connections Radio Show here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.